Welcome back.
Yo. So I got a quick question. Did the music sound sped up to you, like when it first started kicking on? Or is my computer just already acting?
It's just your computer. So Lee and Kevin, thanks for joining me. Brian's going to be kicked out of here in just a few minutes when his computer shits the bed.
Thanks for having us.
Whatever. Episode 47, Michigan Homebrew Festival. Actually, we got one more popping in. I see Jeff. Let me get him in here. We got Jeff Burkhart from Sons of Liberty. So I'll tell you, we've been doing this show for a little over a year now, and when we started it, like, this was the show I wanted to do the most. And I started pestering Ben and Pat. I think, back then, like, I want to have a MHF show, and then fuck COVID, and it all got canceled. They didn't want to do it, and whatever. So
it was a rough year.
I am super excited to have you guys on to talk about MHF, which is happening again this year, 2021, third weekend in August. What is it, the 17th?
Yeah, I think the last time Jeff and I were on, we were still trying to figure out what we were going to do for last year. So we're pretty happy to be able to join and say, it's on, baby.
It's a positive time.
On.
It was rough last year. Well, the guidelines and moods changing and numbers changing, and we didn't know which way to turn, and had to postpone, cancel. So we were joking. This is 2020.2, but
nice. So you guys have you've changed up a little bit this year. How long? I don't know the behind the scenes with the organization of it, so let's get into that. Kevin, are you? Is this something you've done for a while? Or are you new officially to the?
No, I got duped into helping with the food probably 6 years ago. I don't know, whatever the first year at Agawam was, and then I just
2016, I think it was.
Yeah, I just kind of got funneled more and more responsibility since then.
I mean, you've always been one of my favorite parts of Homebrew Fest, and the best goddamn chicken I've ever had in my life. So,
was it the raw chicken?
You didn't give me a second, Jeff.
Sorry,
it
was rare.
He always jumps the lead. I'm telling you,
it was a little rare, but
that was Pat and Ben's.
Yeah, that was Pat and Ben's.
That was Pat and Ben. My chicken was cooked.
Kevin has, basically been helping out with the behind the scenes stuff for the last year or so. Yeah. Jeff pulled me into this a few years ago, saying they really need help with the website. so that's how I ended up into it.
So he seems knowledgeable. He'll do,
and gullible, and we'll work for beer.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was sort of a coming together of great minds to try to get the event a little more organized, get things lined up earlier, information out to people who wish to attend, and then go forward with adding on events and activities as the time went closer to it. We'll get more into either tournaments or golf or beer pairing dinners, things like that. But it's just the fact we're going ahead with it is, right now, just we're happy to be able to do that and hopefully bring together for a great event this year after missing last year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we missed it. It was heartbreaking to put that message out saying that we were canceling for that last year. But on the other hand, when we finally were able to kind of get all the stars to align and know that we could do it this year, I thought half of us were going to blow a wad or something.
It's like canceling Christmas for like beer nerds or something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It really is heartbreaking.
The National Homebrew Fest is great, but it's too big. It's bigger than a lot of us here in Michigan really enjoy. And to have, Michigan Homebrew Fest is more intimate, and we can really really enjoy it, and there's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of friends. I mean, all you guys I've drank with and had some good times there at Michigan Homebrew Fest over the last 6 years. So
Yeah.
it's just a bash with a bunch of friends and with great beer and just good events, man.
Yeah.
And it has definitely evolved from the early on days of I guess I don't know the original founders or members were here, but I guess it just started. Was it Lab? Was basically getting together with some other friends club, another club, to do a basically barbecue beer sharing weekend. And
Kevin was part of that, weren't you?
No, I was at the first. I think I was at the first year that it was at
Groveland
what
Oaks.
was it? Groveland Oaks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this was the year before that. It was 2010 was the first year at Groveland.
Okay.
That's when
Yeah,
they canceled
so-
the Michigan State Fair, and so
Okay.
they had the
the
beer
beer cup.
competition at the Michigan State Fair. So that year they had the homebrew comp at Michigan Homebrew Fest. That's how I ended up there, because I always would enter the Michigan State Fair and they weren't having a homebrew contest anymore.
Right. Yeah.
How you
So
guys
then,
doing? Sorry I'm late.
Dan
hey
Frechette.
Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Dan,
Good.
Dan, you were one of you're one of the original founders, right?
Yeah. It all started with basically Lee Krupnick, Pat, and myself, Pat Hyde and myself. And then from there it grew. But it actually it was at first, what was it? I think, can't remember. They're not around anymore. Scabs, I think?
Cass River?
Well, Cass River was one of them, and I think there was Scabs. They were out of
Shiawassee.
Skywalker,
yeah.
that's right. They were having a pig roast every year, and that was going on like 2 years before the Homebrew Festival came about. And then through events occurring, Pat and I hooked up, and we started talking about certain things. And the Michigan State Fair got canceled, and I took that over at the time. And it looked like a perfect time for us all to come together and start the Homebrew Festival. So it's kind of a nice thing that happened, and it's just grown from there. I think we started with 5 clubs, and now we're up to about 15 clubs.
Yeah, last year we had 20. Or not last year,
Wow.
but 2019 we had 20 clubs.
It keeps,
Oh,
yeah, it's
come
hard to
on.
keep track of them.
You can't forget Battlefield Brewers who are roaming the area. So that'd be
Yes.
That's
21.
classic. I love that.
They are included. No, they are included in that 20.
Okay.
Yeah. But, we've got clubs all the way from Traverse City and, of course, Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids and Lansing area and up near Flint. I mean, we've got them from all over the place. So it's really a lot of fun to see all these people, that you don't get to see all the time, but that one weekend in August, we get to see everybody and share a beer or two or more.
Yeah. No, I mean, I came out because of Michigan Beer Cup. I was a day tripper for a couple of years and met you guys and got excited about it, started camping and got to know more. And yeah, looking forward to this, like Beer Christmas every year. And now
I remember that first year you came, you brewed a Citra IPA.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I had my Citra IPA too, and I was like comparing between yours and mine.
Yeah.
Was that the beer you brought to that crab boil that we did?
No, the crab boil beer was a raspberry wheat, I think.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first time I met you, I think.
That was the first time I was there trying to like officially rep the club. And then
I remember you were so mad because nobody would come with you. You're just pissed all night because you were the only one.
He was like he was
I
pledging
remember that.
he was pledging other clubs, just trying to blend. Just wanted to belong.
But now back in 2019, we were like next to KGB. I think we had the most members there. So I mean, it's worked. I've spread the gospel of beer camp on the west side, and
Beer
I even
evangelist.
we're talking this year. We may even have some club people, coming out. They may just sit with us in our tent, or we'll serve some club beer. But the challenge there is Club always had their pig roast on the same weekend, and
Okay.
now Club's actually like, screw this, we got to move our pig roast, I think, so that we can come to
We
beer
could.
camp.
We would
I've heard
enjoy
that
it.
said,
I'd enjoy
so.
a pig roast. Come on, yeah.
Have it at the
Yeah,
festival.
tell them to bring the pig. We'll take care of it.
So, but through this group, I've made such good friends and people I talk to all year round. I know I'm Kevin and I stay in touch pretty frequently. I talk to Pat a lot.
My condolences about that one.
It's kind of like herpes, if you have a flare up every now and then,
It goes away. It goes away a little
That's
bit.
exactly it.
You can deal with it.
Then at the worst time, you're like, "Oh God, it's back."
But no, I really love coming out to brew. We brew together, and
Yeah, we did the
just-
collaboration brew a couple years ago. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, on the big system.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I remember we had some people doing barbecue when we were at Groveland Oaks. Somebody would raise a hog or a pig for the event, and clean, slaughter it, and then bring it there and smoke it in that big mobile smokehouse, and then one fellow's trailer. But that's what we've seen over the years. And most recently, we've seen the past couple of events where when we actually had them, that a barbecue competition became part of the weekend. Because over the years, we've discovered that people really do, and a lot of people who are brewing really do enjoy the culinary side of things too, with preparing special foods and then sharing them with others. And then Kevin, of course, is with his skills, was participating in running I think the beer pairing dinner was never going on at Groveland. That was just started at Agawam.
No, Pat did it at Groveland, but they just did it like on a couple of picnic tables with a couple of grills.
Okay.
So at Agawam, we got sort of a commercial kitchen. Not really. It's like a 6-burner and an oven and a table. But it's enough to where we would put out, I think the last time we did it, I think we did like 8 courses maybe. I don't know. We did a lot. Too much.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always
Hot
too
dog
much.
sushi. I remember that.
The chicken sushi.
The
That was hot dog sushi.
Chicken sushi.
That was our picnic theme. Hot dog sushi.
At least the kitchen there with all the stainless steel makes things a bit more sanitary for preparation and everything. Excuse me a second.
Yeah, sanitary. Go with that.
Yeah, sanitary. Right. Is it really sanitary when Benner Pat is in the kitchen? I mean,
It is. I spray them down with star sand.
There's a lot of star sand involved.
Nice.
Star sand showers and shit.
But so then with the especially as each club may have an interest in doing something special, we find each year. Excuse me a second, I have a puppy interrupting here.
puppies are fine, man.
Yeah. We're an animal friendly show.
Good, because we're a bunch of animals.
Well, speaking of clubs earlier too, we talked to the Michigan Mead Coalition a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week?
Yep.
I can't remember.
Last week.
Sometime in the last couple of weeks, and yeah, so a whole mead centric club aside from the Mead Mamas.
Yep,
Yeah,
they're
this year
coming.
it sounds
They're
like
coming
they're
to
gonna be
Michigan
there, so
Homebrew
that's cool.
Fest. So they contacted us, and that we're going to have a spot for them, probably just outside the fort. But they're excited to come. They've got a bunch. We also had another club, a small 6-person club. I'm trying to Black Gray Cat.
Gray
Brewing.
Cat, yeah.
That's right. Sweet.
6-person group that wanted to come. They've never been there before. So they were asking a bunch of questions. We were trying to, give them the best information. They're like, "Oh, we'd like to come out for the day," and I'm like, you really should spend the night.
Yeah.
Where are they from? Like what part of the state?
I think they're from.
I was thinking Warren area.
Yeah, I think so.
Warren or
Yeah.
Madison Heights, something like that.
Yeah,
But,
they said they're just a group of 6 friends that like to share beer and brew together,
That's
and hey, that's what we're all there for, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking
in
forward to
2019,
having them
though,
join us.
Yeah. Yeah, in 2019, I think I can't remember the club. I know you all remember, but the club there with probably the least representation was the one that won the Gang Brew challenge.
Yeah, those branch area brewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So they've
They had really good pickled eggs.
I don't understand how you guys remember so much. I'm always too drunk to remember this stuff.
I'm with
the
you,
trick
Dan.
is pace yourself. You have to pace yourself. I write things down, like take a picture, what the hell is this picture for? Oh yeah.
I'm the guy who can't use social media, remember?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of, I guess where the role I sort of took on with the event was sort of in terms of like the first few years, we had so many clubs joining, and then it was like the same clubs. Then we said, well, let's try to invite more. And so I went through basically the National Homebrewers Association database of Michigan clubs and sent emails to every club on that contact list, which numbered probably close to 90 or so at the time. And then, of course, there were certain domains no longer active, some addresses no longer functional, whatever. And I went through, curated that list, tried their phone numbers, whatever, and then basically had a master list of all Michigan brew clubs. But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe we could work on inviting Ohio, Indiana, clubs also. But and then was interesting this year, I went back and I was sort of updating my list and going through the National Homebrew Association database, and found there's actually an increase in Michigan brew clubs of about 10 or 11.
Awesome.
Which, is contrary to a couple of years ago, where there was talk about contracting of brewers or craft brewing and maybe shrinking demand or desire to do it. And then what I saw in terms of the number of clubs, new clubs, was contrary to that. So I found that interesting. Of course, we had a couple of clubs that just disappeared from the face, so maybe had 10 or 12 added, maybe 3 or 4 went away. But it was interesting to see the numbers actually increased.
I saw a statistic, I think it was on Reddit or Homebrew Talk or something the other day, where somebody went through and they tracked the Google search, the number of searches basically for, I think it was either how to brew or how to make homebrew or something like that for the last couple of years, and right around April, March of last year, and in towards like May and June, it just started spiking, right when people are stuck at home and stuff. So,
yeah. One of my other ventures is I run beerboard.com, which is a small homebrew forum, and we went from in April of last year, we went from about 800 members to about 1,200, just in about 4 weeks. It was insane.
For how long?
Yeah, it just a bunch of people were joining. They were getting the small, even the small little kits, the Mr. Beer kits and the beer brew demon kits. The extract pre-hop kits, and they were checking it out, and because they had nothing but time and money on their hands.
Yeah,
right.
That's how you get the bug.
Yep.
The gateway kits.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get into it for $100, man. It's cheap.
Oh yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah. Cheap to get in.
Then somebody starts talking all grain. What is this? And the cost just goes up a little bit.
For Christmas this year, we bought my girlfriend's dad a grain mill, and
okay.
Yeah, because he's been a home brewer for a while and stuff like that, and wanted to get into all grain. So, it's been everybody's trying to step the game up a little bit lately. It feels like.
Yeah, it seems I recall like probably our first event where we showed up in mass at our club, Sons of Liberty, to the event was Groveland Oaks, and I think we had maybe 4 beers on draft, and I think 2 of them were actually palatable, and the other 2 were so at best. And I think that we have the that trash can beer that year too, that we had brewed, and everybody showed up to a meeting, and we were a sort of the early formation of the club, and everybody showed up to somebody's house, and hey, let's bring something to brew with, and we had molasses.
We asked if people could just contribute whatever they would want to brew a beer, and we were getting all kinds of stuff. We had what was sorghum, and
Forget about hops and barley.
yeah.
We just wanted the fermentables, dextrose, a couple pounds of
Grass
agave.
clippings.
Yeah,
The
it was
earthy
pretty
tones. But we had what was star anise in there, and some other interesting things. But
But that was where the gang beer.
yeah, basically that was kind of where we just had a keg. We didn't have just bring a keg along. Maybe they'll like it.
And also, that was the year that Grass Award got started because your club lit up that one night. You had all the smoke and you had the disco light or the LED lights running around. I just remember you had the two robots behind the bar.
Disco robots.
Doing their things.
Yeah.
It was so cool. That was a neat night.
We'll have to have them back. That was fun. But yeah, so that was kind of, that might have been, but other clubs had also presented, like, here we got together, brewed this, and everybody brought something. And so the sort of the thought of the gang beer thing, I guess, maybe sort of developed there. And then we started officially doing the gang beer challenge a couple years, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
17 maybe? 2017?
Yeah, just sort of an official thing to say, hey, here's a competition.
Who won it last year?
Branch Area Brewers.
Branch Area Brewers.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've got the trophy, and so yeah, we came up with a trophy that we'd be proud to display on your mantles. So, but each year we try to say, well, instead of having the same guidelines, let whoever won the event previous year come up with the guidelines for the next year, and hopefully, something that will result in something everybody can brew and come up with a good 5 gallons of something to share. But the main thing was get people to brew with other brew club members, maybe try some different ingredients you haven't ever tried before, like spices or fruit or something like that, and basically just try something different, maybe a different method. But basically use any yeast, use any I think hops, and basically ABV was I think this year's a 7 or above. And there's four groupings to choose from for this year, and pick one item from 3 of them. And but yeah, that way you get to bring your best effort to the event, and it'll be judged by basically other homebrewers at the event. So there's basically you'll get immediate feedback on your beverage, and it's just a lot of fun to see what everybody tries out, and a good radish and asparagus lager. Can't beat that.
Gang beers have actually turned out to be a couple of, I think, my most memorable beers. The first one we did, we went out with a group of us went out on a member's property and literally dug up sassafras root, and harvested it, and cleaned it, and then really hoped that we weren't going to poison everybody. And then another year we did a sour that I hosted, and kettle sour, and I didn't treat it kindly, and it got seriously infected. And I tried to work through it, and it wound up basically gas bombing my house. To the point that my wife, I think, told me I was never allowed to brew. I mean, and Brian, you went home smelling like vomit, right? So
I smelled like dog shit. So I went home, and so Shayna runs a rabbit rescue. We run a rabbit rescue in our city, and she was doing an adoption at the time. So we had people in our house, like with a rabbit, or maybe adopting another rabbit, and all I could smell was like
just don't look in the bottom of the stove.
Well, because I didn't know that it was my clothes at the time. I thought I'd permeated something, or I thought it was like a skunk outside. And
oh my gosh!
And yeah, I was apologizing for the smell. We were shutting the windows and stuff like that.
Well, probably people thought it was
they left eventually. Yeah, they left.
I thought it was like a scene on a Basic Instinct or something. My hat.
Oh, it was awful. It was so bad.
The day after that happened, that I gas bombed the house with it. My wife and I went out of town on vacation, and my daughter, or my stepdaughter, I'm sorry, was going to some kind of formal or prom or something. And I think we're on our way to the Caribbean, and we get this message that her clothes and her dress smell like vomit, and so she's freaking out. And so I had
just stop at the gas station.
No, I was like texting my mom to go and like basically help her wash all of her clothes and get her ready for this
Oh,
dance.
jeez. Oh,
So it was kettle sour gone bad.
The memories.
Yeah, but gang brew, man. God, I'm so pumped for gang brew.
yes. You too can have that on your mantle.
Yeah.
Griff will be very happy to see it.
It'll happen. I think we've come in like second place 2 times or something. We're always the bridesmaid. But God damn it, we'll get it.
Yeah. I think last time I don't think we even placed in the top few.
I think because it turned out gray. I think was because
Yeah.
it was kind of like a gray in color.
Yeah, it was kind of a salmon gray.
Ooh, that's what you want to
It's
do.
beer you only serve at night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was interesting
Yeah, it was.
when we can get
So-
it to flow.
So with we took the year off. We talked about that. We're coming back though. Are there any major format changes? I know in the past, there's been Feast of Friday. There's been the Saturday Michigan Homebrew Competition Awards. And I know some clubs do various things, Bloody Mary Bar, things like that. But has there been any major change in format or?
I think we're still putting things together. We are going to be bringing back some of the staples, but I think it somewhat depends on attendance too. If we get the same, we usually get a big rush right at the beginning of people signing up for MHF, and then it tapers down for a few weeks, and then a couple weeks before the event, it winds up, or we get a lot more registrations again. So we've got to kind of play it by ear, but I think most of the things that we've done in the past are going to. I think we're still, and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're doing the feast or the beer pairing.
Yeah,
this year.
I talked to Hyde yesterday about that, or maybe it was the day before yesterday. But we're changing that format a little bit. So it's not gonna be like a sit down coursed out dinner. Hyde and I have been talking about doing a challenge for a couple of years now, like me versus him. So we've each got a couple of people on our team, and we're gonna do like individual plates. We haven't really figured out how we're gonna sell the plates or limit consumption or whatever, but it's going to be kind of vote by ticket, me versus Pat, and we're just going to get some kegs. We're going to try to get some sponsors with some commercial kegs and maybe a couple of people to bring some kegs of homebrew, and it'll just be more like a social event whereas if you're at a table, you can only socialize with the people right around you. And I think that was the coolest thing about that crab boil that we did, is that you could walk around and talk to different people, and it was just more of a social event. So we're shooting for that.
I will say, I think the crab boil was what we did the first year at Agawam, and I was kind of bummed when it didn't make us, come back. Like I really liked that. It was fun.
One thing I'll say about like that beer dinner is for Pat and Ben, it's super fun. But like I keep telling Pat, like it's like you going to Agawam and fucking siding the
Right, it's work, right?
like you want to go there and put a roof on it at Homebrew Fest. Like that sounds fun, right? But whatever. At least I get to drink the whole time when I'm cooking.
There you go.
I agree.
Well, there's nothing to say we can't bring that crab boil back, though, just as a surprise thing, too,
Yeah.
Just put one together and let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then forget about the stock pot for the whole weekend. And let it ferment, and then
Yeah, you didn't have to deal with that, did you?
Oh no!
I was there when Ben and Pat dumped it in the woods.
Yeah, raccoons from
that sounds
miles
awful.
coming in.
Oh God, that was bad. That was about one of the foulest things I've ever smelled.
But I think we can make a change there and just get rid of that stuff earlier.
Bury it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it,
Oh, that was bad.
put it as a sign up on the volunteer sheet that somebody has to take care of the stock pot on
Yeah. There's
Friday
just
morning.
I'm
There's
just gonna
just
put
two
it in
words:
a keg.
crab boil.
and put it on draft at my bar.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Along with the 20 other
real
beers you
dangerous.
have on tap for your club.
Yeah, I don't think we're coming that strong this year. I don't think Paul's been brewing as much.
Oh, yeah. With the whole shut or canceling of last year, and then the guidelines of general government issued guidelines for the state of Michigan and our own opinions or feelings on it. It's hard to say how everybody's going to feel, but luckily the space available at Agawam allows everybody to social distance anyway.
Yeah.
But then if we want to or dare to have an event where people are close together, it's going to have to be a point where people decide if they're comfortable or not. And we're certainly not going to be able to say, hey, have you been vaccinated? Whatever.
And we don't have to.
Then you get into, and we don't feel
we're
that we
fully
should.
open up as of tomorrow. So, that's not even a concern. It's just what are people's what are they comfortable with?
Right.
And,
if they do what they're comfortable, then.
Yeah. If people are buying a ticket, they've got a certain level of being comfortable in that environment. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's any particular events that would be bad, like a cornhole tournament, Feast of Friday. Just never use common sense, and obviously pay attention to what the guidelines are and what's going on and around the local areas in terms of numbers or breakouts. But latest information is things are improving greatly, so we have to feel good about that, and just common sense will have to guide us.
yeah,
We did talk a little bit about the Feast of Friday going away from that buffet format and maybe doing like a station at each club where each club does their own thing and you kind of stroll around instead of all concentrating in that lodge together.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, like a strolling dinner,
Yeah,
walk around.
just spreads it out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, instead of being crammed, shoulder to shoulder on that table in line, you can just wander as you will to whichever club. I think we talked about that, Kevin. I thought it was a great idea then. I think that's a good play on it.
Yeah, everybody seems to have a flair for whipping up something tasty, and why not instead of carrying them all to the lodge, have them available at your site, get a little more traffic to your area for sampling your beverages, and perhaps have something you want to pair your offerings with, a certain beer or something, to go with your steak tips or the crab legs, whatever.
I think that would play into the Dead Grass Award a little bit too. Whoever.
Yeah. Has there been any revision to the Dead Grass Award? I thought there was talk about changing how it was awarded. Has there been anything done to that?
Well, there's not a lot of grass in the fort, so it's gonna have to be.
So
you could bring some sod.
Jeff, why don't you give a little background on that? What the Dead Grass Award was, how it originated?
Okay, well that was the Groveland Oak days,
right?
The early days of MHF, where the selection of the quality of your selection of beers could be determined by the amount of traffic your club received in the daytime, evening, whatever. Thus, you could then be viewed the next day on the amount of just dead grass you had in the area of your club. And so you find that when you removed your bar at the end of the weekend, the only thing that was green still was underneath your club bar, and the rest was just trampled and turned into a slurry of other clubs' beers being dumped out in front of your club.
But traditionally, it's been awarded by the winning club from the previous year, right? Right.
Yeah. So it's basically the club. I think it's more like the club who brings it basically the best in terms of a lot of clubs if you have a lot of membership supporting, come up with a theme. And you maybe have people who are attending for your club dress a certain part of that theme, a certain role. We had Game of Thrones group one year with I think it was Kraft, and then we had other groups who did. Years ago with was that Black River early days with the casino or carnival theme
Mhm.
Oh,
and
I believe that.
things like that. So each year, every year KGB seems to bring it strong. And
Motor
when
City Masters killed it last year.
yeah, so
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Motor City should have won it last year.
Yeah.
I agree.
so each year there's also a trophy for that. I believe it's a polished corny keg with some other, I don't know, it's a stainless silver bowl
On top.
welded to it or something. But yeah, so that's another trophy to be awarded to the club who really brings the I guess the gusto of homebrew festival to the event with the spirit of home brewing around.
That trophy's
I guess
always in
that
flux,
describes it.
right?
I'm
That
sorry.
trophy's always in flux. It's always changing. Every team who wins it, every group
Yeah,
that
they
wins
add
it
to
makes
it.
a modification.
Yeah. Oh, that's that one. Okay.
I think it has a faucet in it now, so you can actually serve a beer through it. Right?
Oh, there we
A
go.
tap.
I think
Got a shank and everything.
Yeah.
I think Kraft did that, and then they served a like a memorial beer through. It was really cool. It was a cool idea, and I think it's got a plaque on it for that. There was somebody they had that passed away that they memorialized with it.
Hmm.
It's really neat. No, it's a cool ass trophy. I mean, you were talking about earlier, Jeff, about trying to reach out to other clubs, and it's like, how can you explain to somebody in the homebrew industry, or not industry, but the homebrew community, that this is the best fucking weekend of the year? Like, you can't.
Yeah, it's certainly
You
You
certainly
have to
experience
experience it.
it's certainly
Yeah,
gotten
you do.
better and better. And since changing over to Grove and Oaks and getting the feel of the place and what we can do there and how it can work out. And granted, it's sort of challenging for camping a little bit. It's not your typical campground with powered electric sites and water at every few feet. It's a little more sporadic in terms of electrical supply. There are nice shower houses, but it's not a typical campground. But the rustic nature of the grounds really, I think, provides a great setting for the event. And everybody just feels relaxed. And, hey, you want to get up and participate in something, have at it. Again, try to maybe do a cornhole tournament. There's a nice disc golf course at the grounds there. We had a little disc golf open last year.
That's coming back.
So we're
Nice.
trying, it's the grounds there have really opened up a lot of opportunities to, for activities, a lot of space, and basically have the whole grounds to ourselves really, removes a lot of concern about anybody coming in and, not being responsible. So it's been a lot better for, I think, the homebrewing, attendees to enjoy the event.
And I think one of the advantages of that Agawam has over Oakland, or what was the other place? Groveland.
Grove and Oaks,
Is that we don't have anyone else there but us. The other campground, we had campers that weren't part of the MHF, and they would kind of sneak in, or there would be conflicts between the other campers and the MHF people. And here we've got the whole place to ourselves, so we really don't have anybody that can conflict with what we're doing, what we're having fun with.
I totally agree. When we moved over to Camp Agua, they gave us full control over the park. So we have from end to end. Like before, we used to have these huge long registration lines coming into the parks, and that's basically been eliminated now because we do all the prep ahead of time so that people can get in, get their stuff, and go set up, or they can go set up, come back in and check in. Right? When you've been there a number of times, you just know the flow and you go with it, right? But for me, this festival has always been one of the greatest things that's ever happened because it was designed by homebrewers for homebrewers. And the events that happen there are all spontaneous events. It's a generosity of our community coming together and sharing. And that's the one thing that I think really sells it to a homebrewer, right? Because you're with your own. You got doctors, you got lawyers, you got people who work in garages, you got people from all different backgrounds and cultures. All of us get along. It's always
We even have a chef.
We do. Yeah, but they're a little skeevy sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? But no, but it's great. And you meet people that you would never really normally maybe get together with because of the type of work we're doing, and yet we all tend to bond around this one item. Yeah, we have our occasional issues here and there with certain individuals, but we get by and we move ahead.
No, it's really I think it's a lot of why like Brian and I are doing what we're doing and how we started the show is just we missed connecting with the community and the community that we found through our homebrew club and through the Michigan Homebrew Festival as a club, because that's what it really is.
Right.
And just missing this relationship that we have with all you guys and all the people in the state, and being able to get together and have a good time, share a beer, across this mass diversity. It's just it's why we kind of started doing this during COVID, just because we missed it. So
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it sort of captures the spirit of the event. It's just getting together and sharing the things you enjoy, and brew good beer and barbecue good meat. Hey, feel free to share. And still things have grown or become regular activities, such as the Bloody Mary bars, and used to do some club games in the daytime, but depending on how many people and how many activities became a little challenge. We're looking for some team A to come over from this, but they're busy over at some other event. So that was kind of difficult. So now it just seems like the cornhole tournaments, barbecue challenge, it's a little simpler. Disc golf outing. Hey, if you want to have a breakout euchre tournament, wonderful. Just feel free to step up and run it. If your club wants to sponsor it, that's awesome. And just any ideas all ideas are welcome. We're just trying to make it appealing to everybody to come and enjoy themselves. So
I think it's been rare that we've ever said no to something that the clubs have brought up, right? None of them
unless it's
have been
something
really
Pat Hyde brought up, right?
well, like the dirty swim, you mean?
there was that one thing, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I was waiting.
The thing we don't talk about.
God damn it.
I think one of the things that I've seen over the last few years that I've been part of this is that the clubs are taking more initiative to do their own kind of giveaways and events. I forget which one it was. They had the golfing, the putt-putt golf setup.
Prime time.
Prime time had the golfing, and Kraft had a couple of games and just fun stuff to play around with. You go there, you drink a beer, you have a few laughs, you do some stupid little games, and it's a lot of fun.
I know I played at least 100 games of Flippy Cup at the Masters.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So last year we had this whole plan. We were bringing Flippy Cup and beer pong and what's the puppet, a beer puppet, and keepers. That's what we were coming strong with. And we got there and we realized just how shitty of a job we did with it compared to Masters. I mean, Masters came in, had the same exact shit that we were planning, but just at the next fucking level. And it was just, I couldn't even get pissed off at it. I was like, God damn, they killed it.
They had a bracket too, where they were pulling two people from each club.
Yep.
And they had them do beer pong, cornhole, flip cup.
They had all of the ideas that we had come up with. They had done just to the nth degree, to the next level, and they did such an amazing job with it. My only complaint there was because of Kraft and keepers of Kraft. Kraft actually wound up playing some of our games because there was some confusion.
Jason, it sounds like you got a spy in your club. You're gonna have to get rid of him.
Sounds like you have a double. You have a double member.
You got a mole.
Is Dan Flick showing up at your meetings?
It doesn't bother me anymore, man.
He was showing up at ours for a while too, and everything went south since then. I don't understand it.
They did such a great job with it, though. It was still, I mean, and we're definitely more about bringing the beer, getting the people just to come and party and enjoy everything else. We've talked about trying to do themes, but it's hard, so more power to them. They did a great job. Kunin always brings it. you know, like you said, prime time. All the other clubs that try to do something special, I really think that's cool. I'm really just excited to be able to get there and be able to put beer on tap. So
Right. In a chilled state. Well, that might be a little demanding, but yeah. Yeah, I found that really since early on, the early days of MHF, you showed up, and again, you'd walk around and you might have, like, you know, 3 or 4 solid beers that you really want to go back and have a second sample of or something. But in the years since then, people have really upped their game and their brewing techniques to develop better beers and better brewing processes to really make good beer. And it's I don't know, we do have I don't really have a best beer of the event type thing, but that might be something to look at. But there is almost like with the 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 BJCP guideline type things, but with
those away.
yeah, you get so many good beverages to choose from. Yeah. It's difficult to I have to write down, definitely come back to this club and get another sample of this before tomorrow, because it might be gone by then.
And it's not just the beer. I mean, Mead Mamas shows up and they always bring it with their meads. Yeah. KGB has a group of 4 or 5 guys that have been doing meads for 20 or 30 years that are just frickin' believable. And the ciders that people bring, I mean, just what amazes me is we're charging $40 for a weekend to enjoy over 200 different beverages at these clubs, and these are damn good frickin' brewers of all kinds.
There's very few, it's super rare to find a dumper, and even then, I've
That's
had
one
some
of the
before.
problems is you get messed up quick.
Yeah, right, because you're not dumping it out. But even then, just to what I really enjoyed is to go up and try some weird or funky beer and be like, holy shit, that's amazing, and the brewer's right there willing to share that knowledge,
right?
How did I do it, and just share that this is what I use, this is the process, and oh man, it's just such a great fucking community.
I agree. I think those are my favorites, are the ones that are off-putting. They're just off-standard, right? And that's what I meant by get rid of the BJCP. It's not about using those guidelines to look at those beers, but finding the ones you really love or the ones that are really interesting. Like, I believe, it must be back about 6 years ago, somebody brought one that tasted like cracked caramel wraps, right? That little bit of vanilla, heavy caramel notes. And I just got so wasted on that because I was drawn to it. Those are the ones I like.
So, Jason, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you hear about MHF? How did you get there?
So I got into the. I didn't know shit about MHF, man. I when I started brewing, I my very first beer, I entered a competition, Sicilianos, and got a medal. And I didn't realize, I know now that almost everybody that enters gets a medal. That's cool. But it
participation.
Tripped this fucking bug in me where it's like I missed getting out of participation trophies when I was a kid, and I just started entering every competition I could. And so I entered Beer Cup, and then I got this email from Beer Cup that I'd gotten an HM or better, honorable mention or better, and that the award ceremony was at this place. And so I got super excited, got my wife, we drove over there. And then I was just shocked by what I saw. And I was a day tripper, right. So they did the award ceremony and I think I got a couple of honorable mentions that year. But then she had to drag me out of there. So I'm hanging out at the Black River Carnival tent, or one of you guys had a army tent. Was that?
Oh, that was Snobs.
That was Snobs. Yeah. Okay, Snobs. I thought for some reason I thought it was Sons, but and I remember back then that's where I was talking about sharing recipes and stuff. I was actively trying to brew this watermelon beer, and I walked up to some tent. I think it might have been Black River, and had this watermelon beer, and I'm like, holy shit, how did you do this? This is amazing, And then that guy was like, watermelon Jolly Ranchers, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, really?
Yeah.
You know,
There's no watermelons? Nope.
here I am, juicing 11 watermelons, and this guy's just throwing a handful of candy in the keg.
Bruce
so,
Carter.
Who thought?
So I fell in love with it, and the next year, I think I had a day trip again the next year. But then after that, I was like, fuck this, I'm camping. And that was the first year at Agawam. So I missed the drama at Oak Grove. I left before any of that stuff happened. But from what I know and what I've saw of Oak Grove, Groveland Oaks, or whatever the fuck it was called, versus what we have in Agawam, it's so much cooler. Just having the private campground,
Right.
Where it's just us.
It really helps. It really helps too, because you've got really basically the clubs and friends or close associates of the clubs. So everybody's really accountable to each other in terms of their activities and actions. They know that, we're all there, to support each other and our passion for home brewing, and nobody's interested in doing anything ignorant. And plus it's such a huge campground that, camping is easy. And perhaps if you did not plan to stay the night, there's always accommodations available. So nobody will be, refused a place to crash if needed. But
that's what I used to tell my club too. It's like, you come to this group, and like you said, there's over 200 beers that they can sample. You're there all weekend, all that alcohol, but I've never seen anybody get hurt. There's been no disagreements. There's been, any kind of tussling and stuff is in good nature and in fun. And I remember. Yeah, it was Pat and me.
It's a good self-policing crowd,
But I remember even seeing a guy, that might have had one too many, wander off into the woods, and next thing you know, I think some of you were there too. I think there's this group of us following this kid to make sure he got back to his campsite safe and tucked in well, and and that's what it is. It's it's just a good. We police ourselves and
exactly. Yeah, it's just everybody's responsible for themselves and each other, and
brewers take care of each other.
Right. And we did have a misplaced child a couple of years ago, the last event, and we did locate their parents, no problem. But that was so wake up. Where's Mom? Where's Dad? I don't know where I am. It's like, oh, but yeah, there was a happy ending. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We also had a misplaced child.
We gave him as much root beer as we could.
Are we talking about Pat again?
No, we're talking about Matt. Matt McQuillan. Keepers. When McQuillan, I don't know if you guys remember him. Red bearded guy, loves everybody. The first year we brought him, it was just he was all over the place, and those of us who were there, me and Brian, and I hope Matt's watching. But we kind of set up a schedule on who had to keep track of Matt. And,
I actually was not there the first year.
Oh, you weren't there. All right, so it was David. Sorry, me and my wife and David. And then we would just pass each other and say who's got Matt, and then we'd go find which club he was with. But every club adopted him, and he was just
sort of fostering him, basically, just to maintain him, give him some food, keep him hydrated.
Yep.
He's harmless enough.
Make sure his diapers changed, the basics.
A little sublime to keep him calm.
There you go. So let's see. We've got Feast of Friday. That should still be on. We're thinking of something to do different with the meal. Barbecue still on though, Kevin? Or are you going to kind of combine that with the meal?
I think if we do the barbecue comp, it will be combined with that strolling meal, and the judges will have to just stroll around with the scorecard.
Okay.
So that's a good opportunity.
That's usually run by another one of us.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, it's nice when you have a group of people who have gotten involved. Over the years, and they all bring a little something special, different to the table. Like Kevin with his culinary skills, and then we have another fellow, Mike Carr, who's been helping run the barbecue challenge, and he developed a trophy for that also. And so everybody gets a trophy. But we've really seen some nice barbecue.
He's got. It's not just a trophy, Jeff. It's a major award.
Yes.
Yes. But you see these barbecue rigs roll in there. It's just like, oh my God, it's like a whole trailer dedicated to smoking. And you're like, who can compete? And I think the last time the guy had smoked mac and cheese with smoked something else. And you're just like, I never even thought of that. You know, we think of smoked mac. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a major award.
Okay.
Major award.
It is. We do have to put a lamp on one of these. That'd be nice.
I think I've got a picture of you with that plaque and nothing else.
Yeah. It
Somewhere.
exists. It's out there.
It's covering certain assets.
I'm wearing it like a sandwich board.
The end is near.
Kind of makes me uncomfortable that I think we all had that trophy passing around. Now knowing it was probably resting on your junk. That's great. So.
Yeah.
Oh no!
There's a charcuterie board. A little bit
Explains
after that, I think.
explains the rash.
Yeah.
With the sausage on it.
I'm serving on it this year. Never been water.
Sausage has a little wang to it.
Yeah. So I guess as the event has matured, I guess I'll say matured, but we get a little more participation, and clubs will take on. Well, we'll do this. We'll do the Bloody Mary bar. Who remembers the last Bloody Mary bar? We had trays of White Castles and shrimp, bacon, and sausage chunks, and not to mention your staple, celery sticks, olives, onions, whatever. But you had a whole meal in your cup.
Oh.
Yeah, so you had and that's homemade pickled asparagus. So people are bringing their artisan, canning skills to the forefront at the festival and sharing those processes. And you seeing people who have, they make cheese. So another thing, the home brewers, some guys say, well, I'll make some cheese and I'll do this. And then so sharing those skills.
So we're going to, and I'm going to say it here, and I don't care if anybody else copies it because I've said it here first. We're going to do a hot sauce bar.
Nice.
So Brian and I and David and a couple other guys out here in Kalamazoo have started the Kalamazoo Hot Sauce Enthusiasts. Kevin's come out and tried some of our stuff and dropped off some of his hot sauce. So we're going to, and I know Kevin every year has his
fruit, yeah.
Fruited bourbon, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's vodka, sometimes it's bourbon.
Or vodka, whatever.
Infused.
First year was vodka. It's bourbon ever since.
So we're going to try that. And my only concern there of trying to set up a hot sauce bar is to, somebody's going to get it in their eye. But you know what? It doesn't do permanent damage. So I think we should be okay.
A little shot in the eye. Oh, well.
Just put some sanitizer on it.
Right on. Oh yeah, Patrick's in our club. He makes some great kimchi.
Oh,
Makes some great kimchi.
Like the best kimchi. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds yummy. They definitely get the sinuses cleared up then. If you want to sample some beers or really get the aromatic effects afterwards, you probably stop at your booth in between and get the sinuses.
Don't bring that out the same night as the barbecue. Oh.
But don't do it before the judgings of anything.
Yeah, so I think the strolling dinner would probably be interesting. I know in the past, like on Saturdays, or we would bring a little smoker or barbecue by our site and just throw some sausage on there, homemade, was it chorizo or the Italian, whatever, and put a little hickory smoke on there, whatever. But it's nice to be able to put out a plate of something at your site to, help everybody get something to snack on, to help, keep their tummies full, so nobody's getting too poo-poo.
Yeah, we've done chicken, and we've done chicken. We've done some pork.
The ribs,
short ribs,
chops, ribs, yeah.
And
homemade sausages is nice. Just have somebody here cut up and have the bar, a little something to snack on, peanuts. So it's nice to have encourage the clubs to have some snacks at their sites, whether or not be a homemade meat or hot sauce type display. But hey, a bag of snack mix or something just to help people have something to snack on when they're hanging out and gabbing, because they'll probably have questions about your recipes while they're visiting.
We'll have the cold brew nitro coffee on tap in the morning again. That seemed
nice.
to be a big hit last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
People
good.
that
was a
were
big
up
hit last
early
year.
enough and seemed to enjoy it. So
Perfect.
Yeah, I like how you refer to it as last year because
it was the last year.
yeah,
It was. Yeah.
Last year didn't exist.
2020 didn't exist, so we
No.
just jumped.
Yeah, it's kind of it's been like so long. It's like you almost forgot how to do this, but the same like, oh yeah, we did do this, we did do that, and again, the grounds, they're so nice there that it's it seems like it was made for the event, so it's nice to place to find home.
The fort really lends itself well to having that community, to have so many clubs in it and nearby. It makes it really easy to kind of just cross the yard and share a beer or check out what's going on the other side. It's so much freaking fun.
It's like
and I was a
10
holdout.
distinct, like unique parties going on.
Yeah.
You know, like the vibe here, go over here.
Right. Yeah, and and I have to admit I was kind of a holdout. Jeff and several others from our club had been going to MHF for several years that I had been in the club, and I always found other excuses not to go, or found something else to do that weekend or whatever. And now it's like my wife just the other day, she goes, "Are you going to that beer thing in August?" I'm like, "Yep."
That's 19. That beer thing. Well, when is it? Come on, it's the same every year, honey.
Yeah, it's the same weekend every year.
What does that mean?
I was so mad at the last one. My daughter scheduled her bridal shower the same weekend.
Well, that was
I had to miss much of Saturday for that. I was like, I made up for time when I got back, though.
I've got Amy already. Like, she knows this is my favorite weekend of the year. I mean, and people will say that, like, "Well, we're going to do this or that in August." She's like, "No, beer camp." So it's just you got to educate them, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's like there's 2 periods. There's November 15th for deer hunting, and then there's beer weekend in August.
Yeah. Yeah, got to go to beer camp. Man, and you're right, Dan. Like the fort, I think really brought everything together. And we're so happy to actually be inside the fort now. I know the first couple of years we kind of.
That's right. You got a new location, didn't you?
Well, we came in a couple of years ago. The first 2 years,
We were just outside that entrance.
We were behind it, though. We weren't even in front of it. We were like behind it.
You were guarding that entrance.
And then we got to come inside. And then now I checked with Kevin. I know now we get to move over next to Livingston.
LSBC, yep.
We are super, super fucking pumped about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice.
COVID.
During
COVID, we got to do some meetings with Livingston, like keepers in Livingston. They kind of we were like crashing each other's meetings and shit. So I know everybody's really looking forward to coming and hang out with those guys. So
yeah, we were able to go through the club. Actually, I went through and sort of measured out, how many we could realistically place in there, have enough frontage, for your, some clubs have small bars, some have bigger bars, some have more members, some have less members, but trying to, give enough space for each group.
Some people have bigger members than others. So it's
true. And just trying to give enough space. Everybody's comfortable and nobody's crammed together, but then you're all sort of incorporated in the same areas, a little more sense of a community. Some of the clubs prefer their sites outside the fort, like the Mashers, they like that pavilion there. They design their game to fit in that pavilion.
Exactly.
There's other groups in between that like those spots out there. And groups have grown accustomed to those spaces, and so it's worked out well. I think we could fit like 20 clubs in there, or 18, something like that. But anyway, everybody seems to be comfortable with the spacing allowed, and some have the shelter already built and constructed. Others, bring canopies or whatever, or gazebos or something to place their stuff under. But it's worked out well in terms of that, and then with the surroundings of the fort and the stockade fence styling thing, we could sort of we haven't really had any problems, but just you sort of control the flow. Then the people who should be in the club areas in the evening, after 9 p.m., we try to discourage anybody under 21 being in there, and so try to sort of keep an eye on things and make sure
Unless
everything's
it's a lost child.
True.
Yeah.
True. But so it's nice to keep everybody together, and get this music will be going. Listen to, sometimes we have some performers show up and a guitarist and vocalist and play and let us listen to them, and that's really enjoyable. But the whole area has just worked out well in terms of the community aspect of it.
Absolutely. Right on. Well, I think I got a couple of housekeeping things to cover real quick before I forget. I don't think we've got a show next week. We're taking a week off, right, Brian?
I think so. Yep.
And then we're going to come back in July. Right now, we're working on a date with Gluten-Free Homebrew Supply.
Brian, yeah.
Yep.
Is that Brian
Newcomb?
Newcomb?
Yep, Brian Newcomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, they had mentioned
Gluten-free
interest in. Are they open? They have a brewery going also.
I think so.
Because they were talking about having a spot at the event, but as we don't have a permit for the sale of beverages, I just had to specify we happy to have them. If they were serving samples, they could sell hats, shirts, whatever, but we can't have the sale of beverages there. But maybe if something we could do for a pairing event at some club, if we could then purchase their beverages perhaps to serve, but we can't have the sale of it there. But it sounds like an interesting.
It sounds neat. He's sending us a kit. We're going to try to brew it, and then we're going to have him on the show and talk to him. The other big bit of news I got to go is, day before yesterday was National Homebrew Competition Awards ceremony. And I do have to call out that Mr. Stevens took silver medal in the National Homebrew Competition for his American Wild Ale. So the first Keepers of Craft National Homebrew medal. Congrats, nice. Brian.
Nice.
So he's now our super pro brewer, or super amateur.
He's got bragging rights.
He does. He's the only one with the NHC medal, and that is some big shit.
That's pretty impressive.
Very much a competition-focused club, and Brian's got he gets to go and wear that. And
for now, we're gonna kick some ass next year. I feel it. Drew says, does he get partial credit? The reason he asks is because the beer that I ended up submitting was I won an American Wild Ale, and it was a blend of a Flanders red sort of beer and a blonde beer, and 1/5 of the beer was that Flanders red. It was really strong, like funky Brett Forward beer that I didn't like on its own. So I blended it into 80% blonde ale and put it on some cherries. But that red, Drew, Jordan, who's also part of Michigan Brews, and I all made together and put into a barrel. So Drew gets partial credit for sure.
So Drew, if you don't get to wear the medal for at least a little bit, we'll knock his ass over and take it off his neck. But other than that, no, we're still working out some new shows for the rest of the summer. Talking to some different people. Probably come back with a mead show, do a homebrew review show, or mead show 2.0. So yeah.
You couldn't stream an event from Homebrew Festival?
Oh, thanks for bringing that up, Jeff, because yes, we want to try it. We don't know how to do it. We don't really have the equipment for it.
So you need a strong internet connection or
that's the main thing.
Plus power.
That doesn't bother me. So I do actually have a strong mobile internet connection, a couple of them. It's just kind of the logistics of the cameras and the mics and the computers and where do we set up, and then who wants to actually be on camera and who doesn't. I don't want to do that. So I will figure it out. We'll probably put something out that we're doing it so that they don't, somebody that doesn't want to be on show doesn't walk into it.
Right.
We'll talk to you guys about it. It's something I want to do. We have a couple of friends of ours that do professional video stuff, and my dream is, and we really haven't talked to them yet, but my dream is that like I buy them a Homebrew ticket or an MHF ticket, and they come and bring their cameras and their shit, and they do this for us. Sam and Travis, if you're watching,
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
that would be awesome. But no, we definitely want to do something from MHF, even if it's even though it's not on one of our regular Monday nights. I want to do something from there. I know Michigan Beer Cup is going. Maybe we can televise that too.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, with the award winners coming in, maybe talk about their beers and this and that. What was that years ago? We had at the Brew Bubba's.
Brew Bubba's
they were at the home Groveland Oaks a few years, and they would do a little interviewing through the event and talk to some of the
roaming mic type of thing.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, this year the Michigan Beer Cup is going to be awarding gold, silver, and bronze standings, so they'll be based off the score. And there's only 125 entries available for this year, so it really takes a year.
It really does, yeah. Yeah, no, we're super looking forward to that, and we've thought. I think I've thought about it. I haven't really talked to Brian much about it, but I've thought about do we do little interview type snippets, where maybe we just record something with our phone and then cut it all together later.
Right.
Because otherwise, how much time would you spend setting up and tearing down and everything, and you'd miss the flavor of the event, worrying about those things.
Because that's it. That's exactly that. I talk about wanting to do all of this, but then I'm going to get a beer can and I'm going to be like.
I think what you really need is a Pat cam. You need to put a camera right around Pat's neck, and then you'll get good stuff. You will see some amazingly wild stuff.
Bad idea.
We might have to put an adult rating on that, though.
No Pat cam. No Pat
It's
cam.
like 4 days, the life of Pat.
Once it gets into the tent, we're gonna have to geofence it. So once it gets
maybe
into
you
the
guys aren't
tent or
as strong
something
as
like that.
I got a strong stomach.
Sure.
I could take it.
I think, Dan, it just automatically goes against all of our terms of service with Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Just kicks it right out. So, I really don't have an audience for it. We don't stream to Pornhub or XVID. So
You'd say, where is he at? What is that? Oh, my God, it is.
Jason, open an account with fans only.
That guy makes the festival, though.
Hell yeah.
True. He does bring the spirit and the excitement to the event. In a complex package.
Yeah. He's the mascot, really.
Complex, compact package.
I meant compact. A little up there. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
It's all good. All good.
I think one thing is just I know you're probably trying to wrap this up, but
no, we'll go all night.
Yeah, I just want to encourage people to get in and get reserve their memberships early, because like I said before, a lot of what we're trying to do this year is really dependent on attendance, and we need to know what the numbers are so that we can firm some things up. So the sooner we know how many people are attending and have a solid number as to what we can do with those numbers, it's really going to help us out. So, I really encourage people if they're even contemplating it to get signed up and let us know so that we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I put a link to the site in the comments for all three of our streams. Definitely go check that out. Do you guys have any sneak peek on the numbers? Like, are they looking good so far, or?
I don't know. I'm not really on the number side of things, but I think we're probably initially we see a huge interest when the site first goes live. That sort of tapers off a bit. Then there's a rush towards the end.
Yeah.
But I don't know in terms of how we compare to previous years. I would think they would be down a little bit, just because.
Yeah, actually, based on projections right now, we're going to have a smaller event this year than we've had in previous years, which was expected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, but we do have a lot of large costs up front for the whole park, and then you talk about insurances, and then porta potties, gotta have those, and just the whole thing there. It's it's got to be taken care of.
No recommendation on the porta potties there. You might want to see if the company can actually remove the lid this year.
You find out the hard way.
The top of the thing, or
no, the solid lid that covers the hole. Some people may not have checked that was up or down. I think the term is shit lid. So,
wait, you didn't read the user manual?
we'll have a sign up sheet for that.
Dan, it was late. I'm not talking about it.
All right, that's fair.
It's dark. Ah, man, no, yeah. From everybody I talk to, I feel like the opposite. I feel like from our side, I think attendance is going to be up. But I know that there's a lot of clubs and a lot of people around the state that may not have the same.
There's no way to gauge that, unless you went to explicitly. I'm sorry,
Dan. We may have more. I'm sorry. Yeah, we may have more day trippers coming in. People who come in just for the day and they go home. Yeah. That's great. But the pre-sales on it just don't reflect that right now, and that's okay. I mean, it's still going to happen. We're still going to have a great time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
If anybody that does watch this has thought about being a day tripper, that you'll be so disappointed.
Absolutely. But it's an old Boy Scouts camp. We got cots everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. You can stay. We'll find a bed for you, or find a spot for you, or we'll cover you up with leaves. Something will happen. You'll be safe.
Yeah.
There's always a couple of people in those bunks in the lodge.
And we've had people curl up right next to our booth in the fort. So
but that's unfortunately.
They were so
Kevin,
cute.
That's usually where Pat winds up, and that's not a safe space. So
people go around the back of the fort to pee, and there you go. So
just make sure everybody's we always look out for each other and everything, make sure everybody's safe. But we do the little fine print is everybody is encouraged to get a site for the weekend, a couple of days, whatever. But if not, we will definitely find accommodations for you if you so need them.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's great campsites. There's you do have limited number of trailer sites available, right?
We do have. Again, there's a few pavilions. I don't know if we have a park map that's updated on the Homebrew page, the Facebook page, or the site. But there's a few pavilions through the park that have actual 20 amp drops, multiple 20 amp drops at them that you could plug in trailers, and I think at least run the AC. You're not going to run your AC, hair dryer, microwave at the same time, but if it's really hot, you'll at least have a capability of AC. There's some, I think, 30, 40 amp services down by the lake lodge area, so the early arrivers will get that. We will have a water fill station at the main lodge when pulling in, so if you do bring a trailer, you want to fill with fresh water, you could do so on site there. And then what we've seen a lot of people doing the past couple of years is bringing in generators on the large activity field. And the only thing we suggest is with the if it's a regular generator that's noisy, try to place it, on the outskirts by the woods, whatever, not near the fort area, so the noise isn't disruptive to other people enjoying the events with the brew areas. But it's just based on when you arrive, and then again, the pavilions seem to have power available at most all of them, multiple 20 amp drops, but those get taken over quickly. And the main tent areas are nice and grassy, heavily wooded, have their own fire pits. So if you're into tent camping, it's probably ideal. And I think you'll find it quite enjoyable.
Yeah, no, the rustic sites are great. Great, really, really nicely laid out, nice coverage, good fire pits.
Mhm.
If there's clubs out there that do watch this or catch on to this that are interested in coming, I believe there is no charge for club sites, correct? So if a club wants to come, you can give them a spot for their bar for free.
Correct.
Who should they reach out to for that? New clubs, do you guys have a post on the site?
Yeah, they can use the contact link that's on the website, and it'll join it. It'll send it right to us. We'll make sure that they get a response back. Usually the emails will come to me, and I distribute them out to whomever is most appropriate to answer the question or whatever.
It's more like you tell us to answer the email.
Yeah.
Is anybody watching? Is anybody watching this stuff? We're like, what? Sorry, everybody who's involved, we do have other, 9 to 5 type things.
Yeah.
So we're not always on top of other things, but
the show too. Yeah.
Yeah. We're like you. We're doing it because we're passionate about it. We got roped into it, and we joke about it. It's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, but honestly, when we get there on that third weekend in August, we're ready. And we're happy to have done it. So that weekend makes it all worth it for sure.
Definitely.
True. Yeah. So we'll be. I gotta place a map on the fort. We're trying to all the clubs that were in attendance the last event, the same spaces if they wish to maintain them. And there's been minor adjustments with keepers will be moving to the corner of the club, but the corner of the fort. But any other clubs will find spaces, and then we will find accommodations which suit everybody as best as possible. Absolutely. And I don't think there's a bad spot really. So
no.
No, there's not. Even outside, even stuck behind the fort, dude, we still had an amazing fucking time.
You came back, so that tells you.
It actually encouraged us, I think, to get to know people more, because I would walk out into the fort and be like, "Hey, come back here. There's beer."
We're like,
no, like a creepy old man trying to lure kids into the woods.
It was like it season 1.
Is for Saturday, is there anything scheduled as far as like food trucks go yet?
Not yet. We'll get a food truck there.
We had someone inquire from one of our clubs that is interested in doing a food pop-up. So we're investigating that and seeing what they have to offer and seeing what we can arrange.
That'd be sweet. Awesome. Super awesome.
I'm sure if the ice cream truck shows up again, Dan will buy out the whole truck.
There you go.
I did that one year. I'll do it again. That was fun. I didn't get any.
Has that happened in recent years? I'm trying to think if I've seen an ice cream truck out at Agawam since I've been there.
It was the last year.
It's only been a couple years.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had ice cream truck.
The guy showed up in the afternoon, and I was like, dude, this is a private event. He's like, oh man, it's like there aren't any kids here. I go, no. I said, you're welcome to sell. He says, well, I can come back later tonight. I can bring some different kind of stuff too. And I'm like, no. I said, I'll tell you what. Come back tonight. I'll make sure you make your money. But you're not selling that here.
Everyone's already got that.
He just totally, exactly. But he totally solidified
it must be the kombucha, right? You just bring back the kombucha to serve.
Last year or the last year. So we post, Lee, I actually just saw your post in Sons of Liberty, where you're requesting keg donations. I'm probably just going to steal your spreadsheet and post on Keepers. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. But we do that. I do that post. I put it out there. I'm like, hey, Keepers, donate some kegs, or anybody has a keg that they want to serve at Homebrew Fest, let us know. And this guy reached out, and he did. He had some dosed a dosed keg of THC beer, and he wasn't even a paid member. And he's like, "I'd like to donate this," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not."
I would be so pissed if I was
Hey,
walking
can we
around
do a week
Yeah.
like that?
and I just
Maybe
got
just
stoned.
bring a couple bottles.
Yeah, well, that's we've done that before too. We have some members, actual paid members, that do it. And I said, it's okay to bring a bottle if you want to drink it yourself in your tent, or you want to share it with somebody privately. You
People who know what it is. Yeah.
But this guy he wasn't even a member of our club. Nobody knew who the hell he was. Just out of the blue, he's like, "I'm going to give you this keg of marijuana beer," before it was legal, even, I think. And
Yeah.
and I mean, technically, I don't even know if it is legal in that format, but whatever. And then he got shitty with us when we told him no. He got all butthurt, pissed off, and it was like,
that's kind of one of those gray areas.
Yeah.
hey, I don't
that we had to kind of put out a statement the first year that that recreational marijuana was legalized in Michigan, and basically it's, you have to abide by the state laws. The county, wasn't, didn't want to support it. So, we just said, we don't recommend that you bring it, blah, blah, blah. If it's personal consumption, that's your business. But, it's, it's a gray area, and we don't want to do anything that would jeopardize MHF or what we've been doing over the last 10 years, so.
Is anybody bringing anything special to the festival this year?
special by just
like a-
regular
like a
beer
bunch
special.
Just something. Well, like for instance, I have 10 gallons of probably 14-year-old mead that have never been touched, right? Sitting.
Wow.
So I'm thinking about
Really?
kegging that. Yeah, I'm thinking about kegging it in and bring it up. I don't know what it tastes like. I just rediscovered it, you could say.
Nice.
I had it. Yeah, so I was thinking about bringing that up.
No, that would be awesome, Dave. You should totally do that.
Yeah.
Those sometimes turn out to be the best
Absolutely.
beers. Oh, it's been
No.
sitting in the corner of the basement for 5 years or 10 years, and
I remember a couple of years ago, Luke Boomhauer, he was wandering around with these 18, 20-year-old meads in a cooler over his shoulder, and serving those. And
I remember
there's
that
some
too.
amazing stuff.
Yep.
Um,
I remember one of the staff members back in the day had brought Bigfoot, and he had something like a 10-year ranking of Bigfoot, and he did samples out of that, and that was amazing to see how the beer would change from one year to the next, and how it changed over time.
So Brian and I have some 26-year-old Bell's Expedition Stout.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were going to take that somewhere, but we didn't, did we?
We were going to take the last keepers meeting, the cookie beer meeting, but there were so many other beers there that it wasn't going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I think these are breakouts that happen at the festival, right? You get these great things, and you hear it on a download from somebody. Get over at 10 or 1 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Livingston does the sour social, right? Or you've done
Yeah.
it the last couple of years. Yeah. And that's pretty amazing. I've got to try some really
KGB
awesome
does a nice sour hour. Too.
sour hour.
yeah. So those things would be like the not last minute, but be pop-up events on the Facebook page. Hey, this event, clubs, feel free. Hey, you want to do a sour beer sampling at your site? Please, set an event on the Facebook page or the site, and we'll get it on the calendar. And if we ever actually print anything out, we got to the point where we were doing automated messages to all people who wanted to get them in terms of, okay, this is actually happening at this time, and come on by and do the sours, Bloody Mary bar or whatever, stuff like that. So as it gets closer, feel free to suggest something. If your club wants to support an event, we'd be happy to support it and get it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I'd have to think about an event we could do. I know. So Drew Doster, who's in chat, Drew, Brian, and I went in together, and we're going to do a specialty tapping mead, Dan. But it's like a Schramm style, no water added mixed berry mead. We've got 5 gallons of it that we're going to bring.
Wow,
Or
Might be closer to 4 by the time. Yeah.
Right.
No water, huh? What?
Yeah.
If we make all three of them, we'll just have three.
No additional water. I think the entire thing for 5 gallons ends up being about 600 milliliters
Wow.
Yeah.
of water, and the rest comes
Just
from
what's
fruit.
hydrated, the yeast and that. So it's just honey and fruit.
Oh,
The
interesting.
FG is about 1050 right now.
Oh wow.
So it's
Have you
definitely
sampled
a
this
sweet
so
bean.
far? Yeah, I would
You know what
imagine.
I tried over at your place? I think I have a bottle of that.
You tried
Yeah,
that was a
some real
blueberry.
That was
So similar
good.
style. We're doing. We did. What did we do? 60 pounds of mixed berries.
Yeah,
Blueberries,
60 pounds of
raspberries.
a mix of raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
That was good mixed with
36
that
pounds of
Berliner.
honey.
Yeah. I'm hoping to have the Berliner on tap at Homebrew Fest.
Nice.
I'm going to try to get some brewing done in the next week or two. I'm probably going to brew a black IPA and something else to put on. But yeah, we've got the Berliner Weiss. I should have a keg of that. Brian, what are you bringing? You got any ideas yet?
I don't know yet. Last year I made a pineapple upside down cake cider.
That
I
was
think that
amazing.
went over well, or maybe it was the year before. But I haven't made a cider or anything like that in a while, so I'm kind of itching to do
See you,
that.
Kevin.
And I think that's like a nice
See you,
hot, like
Kevin.
summer refreshing thing. See you, Kevin. So yeah, I think I might do that, and maybe a beer keg, since I think our attendance, is going to be a little bit lower too, probably, like everybody's is.
I have faith.
Um,
It's going to be that.
I don't know, but I think I might like to try to bring like at least 2 kegs of stuff.
If there aren't enough people, just keep drinking until you see 2 of everybody.
Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
so last time we were there, we typically serve off of 7 taps. That's what our bar has, and last time we were there, I think we had 26 kegs, and so it was really
Constant
really hard.
rotations.
How to rotate? Yeah.
and when to
Yeah.
rotate. And then I was actually making the judgment call. Like there were people, that said they were going to show up and they didn't show up, and so I didn't tap their beer because I had people that were there that wanted their beer on tap so they could talk about their beer.
Right.
Right.
So it's
Yep.
like we've got to. If you're here, we're going to tap your beer. If you're not,
Yeah, our club bar we have 10 taps, and then we have room for at least 2 more party taps inside of it. So we can tap at least 12 beers, and then inevitably we'll put a couple of coolers on the outside with a couple extra, just with party taps for specialty beers or one-offs that we might have, or limited quantity, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But,
I've got equipment to, I think, spin up probably another 7 taps on a jockey box.
Oh, wow.
I've got some coolers, and we've had equipment donated. One well out here donated a bunch of taps to us, and so I think I've got enough to spin it up. And I think some other members have jockey boxes. So I think we're going to come in, especially being in the corner where we're at this year. With that little shack in the back corner, I can set up a table and kind of set up a back bar.
Sort of stage them a bit. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Before where we were at, we had that door, and I didn't really have the ability to put anything behind our bar, or, it was just limited space between craft and Red Ledge. So I think being back there, we'll be able to support. I'm hoping to have 14 taps that we can go, but we're definitely going to do some specialty taps. We'll
That's
have
awesome.
the mead, and of course the gang beer. But you guys played right into it this year. Whoever came up with the gang beer, Keepers just got done doing a cookie beer competition.
Okay. Yep.
So we had 19 members brew different beers with different cookies.
Oh my goodness.
And so then you throw out prepared ingredient as one category.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was branch areas. Their recommendations for this year's there's guidelines. So yeah,
It should be fun.
They took on the trophies. They get to make the choice. See, I'm thinking Doritos. I'm thinking cookies.
Ooh.
I'm thinking anything that's ready to
Doritos
serve.
is on.
Who did the bean soup? Was it Ann Arbor? Double tier.
Oh, I know we had
yeah.
a sweet potatoes beer one year. I forget
It's
who
like a
did
cast
that.
iron pot over a campfire.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the bean soup was cooked on a fire, had garlic, onion, white bean, oregano. My God, I want to say that was Ann Arbor, and it was exactly what it said it was. And then there was the year the like the mom spaghetti, that little club that was out front that did like the carrots and tomatoes, and
Oh, was
Yeah.
that Cass? Was that Cass?
that might have been Cass, right outside the front door.
Okay. Oh, my
Right.
lab was right outside the front, I think.
Where Bell's
other
was.
side of lab, across the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, okay.
They had the
Oh.
tiki bar last year.
Okay. Drawing a blank. I look at my. It's all a blur for some odd reason.
There's some fun ones. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, I think everybody is ready after taking a year, after having a pause for a year. Everyone is ready. Those of us who are signed up to be there are going to really enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
Scabs. Scabs
Scabs.
was the left of the entrance.
Yep.
So yeah. Hopefully, it's gonna be slightly different, maybe a little lower in numbers, but I think we'll still have a great event. And then these pop-up breakout events will occur as we get closer. And it'll be
58 days left.
I love the countdown on the website. I've had the website up the whole show, and it's just 15 days, 13 hours, 49 minutes, and 43 seconds. But that's actually so the official start date, August 19th, 2021. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if we have it reserved Wednesday or not, but sometimes
We did.
people.
We did.
Okay, so technically, you could people could show up Wednesday, but really the Thursday is more people show up, but I think Thursday
is the
evening.
first official day of it, but
Yeah.
people show up on Wednesday and have their campsites all set, and they're ready to go when the registration opens.
That's what
Some people park their trailers early just to get it done over with. They don't want to deal with the crowds coming in, right?
Exactly.
we're coming. Several of us are coming in on Wednesday just to get it set up, and so then we can help out with other shit. I know we always try to help in the registration and.
That's another thing. Yeah, so if you're a smaller club, or just thinking about showing up, and worried about enough help on site, other brew club members are always there to help and assist. They've all been there. They've all been, in a situation before they need help, and everybody feels quite comfortable asking others for help. If you forgot your drill, somebody's got a drill. If you forgot, a tool or a fastener or a ball lock connector, somebody's.
I was just going to say that too. Like there was last year, we needed something. I forget what it was, and Red Ledge ran home and got it. And I've had people come by for tools and equipment and help setting up, and hell, even after we left, and I was talking to Livingston, I was talking to Paul, and I mentioned how I had more beer than taps, and Paul's like, shit, I had more taps than beer. Like, they would have put beer on tap for us if.
Oh yeah.
So it's the community, the camaraderie, and it's that I'm always the one up early Sunday morning starting to do the tear down, and usually we're helping each other, take things down, pack things up. Somebody came over and helped me knock my pop-ups down and things like that.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Sunday morning is pretty quiet. Usually.
Yeah, there's no activity. Yeah.
Other than breaking down and getting out. Everyone's
that's it. Here, try this. No. Here, try this. No.
Hair of the dog.
Exactly. Hair of the dog. That's what, man. We threw on that keg of cold brew coffee last year, and I thought nobody's going to be up to drink this shit, and I was worried that the nitro or beer gas was going to make it taste like gas, because carbonation and coffee don't really mix. But I honestly think I had 2 or 3 people in tears at the tent, just going, "Oh my God, thank you so much for having me."
They needed that caffeine boost.
Save their life.
It's cold. It may taste like shit, and it's black, and I got no cream, no sugar. It is what it is, and they were still dying for it. So it was great.
Pure caffeine.
Yeah, we've had we have some clubs take on providing breakfast in the morning on either Friday or Saturday, and so those things will pop up as the time gets closer, and people figure out what they're doing, how much participation they have on a club basis, and we'll go from there. We'll update the site with activities, and hopefully it fills up, and we get back to the MHF as usual if possible. If not, we'll definitely still make the best of it, and it'll be a great time.
Yep.
Yeah, it would really bum me out if this thing fell apart, because then in August I'm going to show up at somebody's house with my bar and tent. So,
Well, even last year, though, I mean, even though the event didn't happen, there were small pop-up events that happened all over the state. Like people are out over in Grand Rapids area, I believe, had a little event.
Yeah, there was some that I got some last minute invites to some up north and shit like that, and
Yeah.
when it canceled, so I got bummed out because my stepdaughter started college at Michigan Tech last year.
Oh.
And when Beer Fest canceled, I went ahead and made arrangements and agreements with my wife and family that we would go up there and do that, and that I would, stay quarantined so that we could get her safely to college. And then all these pop-ups start happening. I was like, son of a bitch.
Well, hey guys, I'm going to drop off, but I'd really thank all of you for
Yeah.
inviting me. It was a great time talking.
No worries. We can wrap up.
I think we're wrapping up. Thanks a lot, Dan. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys are doing good work. Thanks for all the effort that you put in to make this shit happen.
Thank these two. These are the guys that are working hard this year. They're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, just trying to spread the word and gain interest. And actually, one interesting thing I did notice was going through the NHA site again and checking the numbers of clubs in Michigan. I think we have like 105 or 10 now, and I think Ohio has like 15. So I don't know.
Michigan, we're better state.
Yeah, so it seems like those numbers are a little bit askewed there, but go blue, go green, whatever. Beat Ohio State. All right, Dan. Take care, buddy.
Thanks,
See you, Dan.
All right.
Well, any last words or
Hey.
plugs on this?
I just want to thank both you and Brian for inviting us on to talk about MHF. Nothing I like more than talking about it if I can't actually be there. And I really appreciate you guys doing this podcast over the last year to really promote craft beer and home brewing in general. It's really a great show. Really appreciate it. Lots of good information.
It's been.
I've learned a lot
Really
over the
appreciate
last
that.
year from you guys.
Yeah.
So
Ditto from here, guys. Thanks a lot. It's awesome. It was great getting to meet you guys at the event, and we've met so many great people at the Homebrew Festival, and it's I look forward to meeting more. And go MHF.
yeah,
Absolutely.
58
See everyone in
days
August.
and 12 hours left.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thanks a lot for hanging out with us. Really, really appreciate it. Can't wait to see you guys in August.
All right.